In a world where gaming is everything, welcome to the Extreme Gaming Podcast.
Oh, welcome to the Extreme Gaming Podcast. This is hi. This is episode 280. I'm Trev as always. Joining me today is
Great Gamer 25. Doomsday. Doomsday.
That's
Wow.
tomorrow.
Tuesday? What?
This
Yeah.
is being aired on Thursday, so it's Doomsday. For
Ah,
everybody
yes.
that's
Are we,
listening.
are we all going to die?
Kill the illusion.
Yes.
Kill the illusion.
No, I didn't say it was Doomsday. I said it was Doomday.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the end of days for a minute there.
No. Matt,
Yeah, and
introduce.
it's now. Yep. Definitely end is now. I'm Matthew, also known as Irish Guardian on Twitch,
Oh,
Steam,
Matthew.
all the lovely things. Yay.
And?
And we else.
No, not you.
And the man up there.
It's me. Hello. My name's Tal, and I am from gamertech.org. And we did a live stream the other week where we did our first. We had our first customer that bought their own GPU to the party. So they did a BYO GPU. Bring your own GPU.
Did you charge them a fee? Like BYOB at most restaurants, they'll charge a fee for that. I think you've got to charge a fee.
No. So we let people. So you know the GPU market's pretty crazy at the moment, right? So some people might want to buy a second-hand GPU. Some people might want to use the one that they previously had, and maybe they're just going to upgrade the rest of their PC. So we let people just send in their own GPUs or install them themselves, which I think is pretty cool. And that was
Makes
the first
sense.
guy that did that.
It makes sense, mate. It makes sense. The most expensive component of usually PCs these days is the graphics card. And
Right,
it was of my old
yeah.
machine. In fact, my new machine and my old machine, actually.
I
The way
mean,
to do it.
it used to be that graphics cards were about half the total cost of your PC. It must be getting on for 60% now, if not more,
Oh,
just because
God,
they're so
no.
expensive.
Mine was £1,100, so
The GPU market hasn't changed since Nvidia put out the 50 series cards. It hasn't changed. It's just totally messed up,
well,
as usual.
you won't be surprised that there is graphics card news, moans, bitching, or whatever you want to call it today. There is, of course, there is. Really quickly, if you want to come and chat to us, ask us questions, make fun of us, mock us, all the above. Discord.gg/Extreme Game Podcast, or you can just Google search for that. If you want to email instead, info@extremegamingpodcast.com. And we can put any questions you've got, gaming or tech or whatever, in that kind of field into the next podcast. Gray's especially proud of his Extreme Gaming Podcast quick breaks, which are kind of like, shorts on steroids, because they're
Mediums.
longer than that, but they're way shorter than a normal episode. So it's the best of both worlds, really. And they're on YouTube. You'll find them because they're called EGB.
Getting a lot of
quick
views, too. So,
breaks.
all good.
We do, yeah. People like them. So, gaming
Well
night.
done, great.
Tuesdays, 8:30 BST. Join us if you can. We're there most weeks, and most of us are there most weeks, but it just depends on availability. And of course, your man Taro there. CPU, or otherwise, you don't need to have one. But if you don't have one, you can come to him at gamertech.org and get it plumbed into the PC of your dreams. If you're based in the UK, he will sort you out and build it for you. And then social-wise, in all of them, Extreme Gaming Podcast, apart from X, where we're Extreme Podcast, we tend to have a lot of our shorts put up there from YouTube, like the shorts, not the quick breaks. And we, of course, we get loads of news. Very rarely is it a week where we don't actually have much news, and we get loads. So if we can't get through it all, we'll add it to next week. But we'll kick off Gray this time with some gaming news, and no surprises, Doom's in the agenda.
I should have deleted that. See what we do.
First thing I was going to cover, though, before Doom is there's been a lot of developers and publishers out there that are getting totally confused by Xbox. And why do I say that? Because there used to be Xbox exclusivities where it would premiere there and stay there for a while before it went anywhere else. But apparently they've been kind of doing less and less exclusivities to the point where the devs and publishers are saying, like, well, why should we bother making any games that are exclusive when y'all are not doing it anyway? So they've been getting kind of upset about that, which I get. I understand. The Gears of War that's going to be coming out is going to be launching on PS5, which is weird because I thought that was all going to be Xbox too, but that's not happening apparently, or not right away anyway. So they don't know what they're doing or what's going on. And from what I'm understanding, despite the fact that Expedition 33 has done so well on Game Pass with their deal, and everybody's been happy about that, there's going to be less and less of these things apparently. So I don't understand it either. If it worked for Expedition 33 and they're doing well with that, why would they not want to continue that? So it looks as if they're going to be abandoning the idea of the exclusive eventually. They're already starting. So I don't get it. Neither do the devs or the publishers. I mean, I hope that doesn't, change things as far as how they develop games. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, PlayStation is always got exclusives, but I don't know how good or bad they are anymore.
It's a good thing. Well, I can't see how it's not. It's kind of the best of both worlds. I had something later on in mine. It's kind of linked to yours, Gray. That says PS5's best 3 selling games are Microsoft games, and that basically says it all. Are you pissed off if you're a Xbox diehard? Maybe slightly, although Halo is probably the last major franchise that hasn't went across. I think that probably will at some point. And why not? Like, they've found their little niche now, or their thing. PlayStation still have their exclusives, still make probably the best first-party kind of story-driven games that's out there. And you buy a PlayStation for that, or you buy an Xbox if you're a diehard. But whatever your game is, you're probably going to get it anywhere now. I generally think it's, and they're proving it's right. Like what I just said there. The best 3 selling games on PlayStation are at Microsoft. Why would it be a problem is the question probably we'd need to ask everyone.
I don't understand it either.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me. I mean, it seems that, am I wrong, Trevor? Maybe a little bit more on PlayStation, but I think some of the PlayStation players seem to have more things to say when it's a PlayStation exclusive that's not an exclusive. I don't think on the Xbox side you hear many people say anything. They just like, yeah, whatever. They're
kind of chill. They're kind of chill about the whole situation. You're right. Yeah, it is mostly the other way around, to be honest. Yeah, and I think that would maybe change if PlayStation started doing that more often. But I think they've made a kind of stance that wherever you are in the console or the PC spectrum, short of Nintendo, and you could maybe even still throw them in, I think you're serviced pretty well because you're pretty much going to get to play what you want for the most part, no matter what direction you go in. If you're PlayStation, 9 times out of 10, the game will come to PC. So that serves us pretty well. If you don't have a PlayStation, you'll be able to play something. If it comes out on Xbox, 9.9 times out of 10 it'll come out on PC as well, all for obvious reasons. So everyone's winning, including Microsoft, boys, and PlayStation, because Microsoft are getting more money for selling yet another platform, and PlayStation, Sony are getting the 30% tax cut. So
the only thing I can't understand is like why some of the hardcore, I guess, Sony players are kind of like, it's supposed to be an exclusive, you're supposed to leave it this way, and they get all upset and everything. Like, to me, I don't even understand why they bother to wait a year or 2 years before they put it on PC, which I think that's going to become less and less a thing where they're just going to do maybe exclusive for a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever, and then go right to PC. Because to me, if I'm a business person or a shareholder, I'm going to go, open it up to everybody. What are you, crazy? There's no exclusive. Just do it. I'd be screaming at that.
That's why I don't understand this point of view. Surely you want your games to be on as many platforms as possible, right?
But they seem to be stuck with this exclusive thing, especially on the Sony side of things. It's like you're going to sell so much more. I mean, why mess around? I understand that GTA 6 is going to make them gobs of money anyway, no matter what. But still, the point is that why not just do it? Just forget the exclusive. Just let everybody have it. Already.
Okay. It's totally Nike saying, but that's all right. Just do it. Of course. Maybe Hans was right when he was taking the piss. Was it Sony ponies he was calling and all
So
about
many.
this and all about the delicious salt? And I didn't pay attention to it. I was like, teach their own, I'm chilled. But maybe there's more truth to that than we first thought.
So I'll tell you some of the things, and it has been Hans who's been posting it that they say really get me. I mean, they're like really vitriolic about this. I mean, they jump up and down and scream and cuss and everything else about explosive. And like, what is wrong with you? Just relax. Take a
They're
chill
too proud. They're too proud, man. I don't get it either, to be honest with you. But yeah, sad.
All right, I want to move on to Doom, I guess, with my next story. So by the time you're hearing this, even though we're doing it a day before, it's Doom Day. And this is what we've been waiting for months. So Doom the Dark Ages, we are all going to jump into that game as soon as possible. We'll report more on it next podcast. But all the information on how it's doing on what cards and so forth, and we have said many times here that it's the best optimized game probably ever. And apparently from what I'm reading, it still is the best optimized game ever. They've been running it on GPUs as low as 8 gigabytes of RAM, and it still runs.
The new Nvidia graphics card with 8 gigabytes of VRAM.
And yet it still seems to do okay. So anyway, this is Doom. Apparently it's the first Doom game to be fully ray traced all the time. All the time.
Oh, is it baked in?
It's baked in.
Mm-hmm.
God.
It's crazy. No, but it's great. He says, and he was mentioning in the article, if you're worried about performance or the necessity for blurry upscalers and wonky frame generation, he says, don't worry about it. He said it runs really good, even on laptops.
Wow.
And I'm going like,
I'll
wow.
play that on my work one.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Now, obviously, on the laptop, you have to lower the whole thing on your cards, or lower it down to the lowest settings or whatever. But the point is, it still runs. And apparently, from what I'm reading here, this is interesting, Trev, because you had returned your AMD graphics card, but apparently the game runs best on AMD's graphic cards. It's beating out all the RTXs on every front, just about. So that was kind of interesting. Yeah. Let's see. It says for AMD users, you can run it on an RX 6000. In the case of Intel, both generations of the Arc range will run it. On Nvidia, any RTX card will run it. I heard that as low as a 2080 will run it fine. It only requires supposedly 8 gigabytes of VRAM as a minimum, of course, but it'll still run. And what they were saying too is that they optimize it in such a way that if you're running it at lower GPUs, instead of stuttering or stopping or jerking or whatever, it actually slows down. So in other words, it kind of looks as if it's running a little bit more in slow motion as opposed to full motion. And yes, that's not the way to play, but the point is you can keep playing. So I was just like, wow, that's pretty interesting. I mean, I'm sure it's not going
Sloth mode.
So, Ray, there's not been any kind of backlash about this, because I remember what was it, the Indiana Jones game that came out that was 100% ray trace, right? And everyone was really angry. I guess what this proves is you can bring out a fully 100% ray trace game, but it just has to be well optimized so that you can use it on older cards.
Yeah. And this is why whenever we see new games, and we've seen plenty of them, guys, where they're not optimized well and they all have wonky problems. And I keep on saying, go talk to id. How the hell did they do it? They're running a Doom game with a zillion different things on screen, and blasting away monsters in the whole 9 yards. And I said, just what are they doing then? Are they like, I know they put together a good game, I get it, and they're good at it, but you guys can't do that?
Here's the quick point and question. Why not use their engine? I mean, I get a funny feeling they don't sell it to anyone like
Probably.
Unreal.
Yeah.
But can you imagine if they did? I'm not saying it's better than Unreal. Maybe there's elements of it that are better than Unreal, but and the fact that they're not renting out that engine at all, and they're not owned by anyone, I don't believe yet. So
yeah.
I mean, that's a well-oiled machine, isn't it? Like the whole company.
They built the whole company on basically Doom. So I mean, and
Wolfenstein
too, but they haven't done a new one in such a long time, which I think's a shame. They should get back to it.
The last one was shite.
Yeah, I know it was, but I don't think they would do that again after learning, But then again, they can still run their entire company on just Doom. I mean,
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I have not heard about any layoffs at ID. You've heard about layoffs everywhere else. Have not heard a word on ID being layoffed.
Are they public? Are they private? It could be
That I don't know.
Again.
Yeah, I have to find out. But regardless, they're making enough money to keep their employees happy and to keep putting out games. So now to get to some of the stuff that I think people are going to care about. And by the way, we'll do a quick breaks on this for people that are listening on audio because there's some visual stuff here that I'll explain, but I'll be able to put it up on an edit. In any case, this is no upscaling now, by the way. I have 4K because I know that's what Trev wants to know. So on the
baby, yes.
And I'm not going to go over every single setting because there are like about 6 settings in the game. Okay, they go from the lowest all the way up to Ultra, and then they do Nightmare, and then they do Ultra Nightmare.
Baby. Yeah, I want to hear you scream.
Exactly. So here's Ultra Nightmare, 4K. Okay. The 5090 32 gigabyte card is running around 64 to 82. That's the low and high, but the average is more like 82 frames. That's not bad. I mean, considering it's Ultra Nightmare, like the hardest thing you could possibly run on it. The 4090 is doing about 74 frames. The 9070 XT, which is the AMD, is running about 56, and that's a 16 gigabyte card. 49ers at 24. So you see the VRAM coming down some, of course. The RTX 5080, 16 gigabytes. Isn't that the one you got, Trev? Right? Yeah. Okay, that's running 54. Remember, again, this is no upscaling. That's running at 54 on average, that is. Mine, if I come down to where my card is, my Super is getting about 40. Again, of course, here comes, you know what I'm going to do. I'll be using lossless scaling. For sure.
No, you won't. You'll be using frame generation. You just don't have the multi part.
I could, if it'll get me what I want. Either way, I'm good.
Always try that first over your lossless, man. I'm not knocking lossless. It's just if it's based in hardware, and Nvidia are really good at that. So
yeah, I will. I definitely will. But even so, remember that's no upscaling. So that's not too bad. I mean, I kind of expected some of these numbers. If we come off of Ultra Nightmare and drop down to medium, I figure medium's a good one. That's not as high as we would run it, but then again, not as low either, or not as high as the Ultra. So if you're running at 4K medium setting, your 5090 32 gig card's getting 89 frames. Your 4090 24 gigabyte card is getting 80, only a little bit less than the 5090. So, I mean, glancing at that at first, I'm sitting there going like, so the 4090 still rules because the 5090 isn't really doing much better.
What GPU is it? GPU is it? No, CPU is it?
5090 32 gig is 89 frames, and the 4090 24 gig is 80 frames. It really isn't a whole lot of difference.
What CPU is it tied in with these results? Is it the 9800 X series? Is it? In the test, it usually is these days.
I don't know what CPU they're using on here. I don't, so I apologize for that part.
There's every chance it probably is. That's what they're choosing because it's like the best game.
Yeah, I would think so. Now, when you go to 9070 XT, 16 gigabyte, it drops back quite a bit, and it gets all the way down to 62. And again, this is medium 4K.
Higher than my 50. Oh my
God. Yes, it is. Sorry. The 4080 Super is 61. So the 4080 and the 9070 XT are comparable. When you get down to the 5080, yours, Trev, sorry to say it's down to 57.
Yeah.
So there's 4 cards ahead of you.
It's not super high at all. It's not the highest at all, and that's down to various things. But this is why I don't like ray trace. If you cannot turn off ray tracing at all, I don't like that option. Why not give them the option? Because see, if you took that off, no matter how well they've optimized that, I would get higher FPS on average than 57. I would, guys. Raw. So give me the option to turn off. I don't give a shit about ray tracing. I never have. Doom is such a fast-paced game. I don't stop to go, oh, shiny. That's better than a fucking.
You don't want to see shiny blood all over the place.
Nah, it's better in a slower game, man. Like I don't know, like
he's
if it
right.
was
By the time you start to
Last of Us or
realize that you're
something.
already dead.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe if you put on a bit of it, like at lower levels, or I like to put it into FPS, and then I like to have the textures and the foliage and stuff like that up high if I
Hmm.
can. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that, but it's still a
Well,
well optimized game.
don't feel too bad because my 4070 Super only gets 45. The funny thing is, at 4K medium, my card would get 45, but at Ultra Nightmare, it was getting 40. That's not a whole
Much of a
Yeah,
difference. Yeah.
I'm only gaining 5 frames a second to go from
yeah.
Ultra Nightmare to medium.
Gray, the reason for that a lot of the time, and not all the time, but often is because there isn't actually massive differences between
Mhm.
these, like kind of maybe between low and like high there is, but when you're starting to get to like a good medium, high, and then ultra, there's not a hell of a lot of difference between them now.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, let's go down to 1440p, which is where I'm at. Now, this is no upscaling at all
Are you
different.
giving us every resolution here, by the way?
Yeah.
No, not
All the way
everything. Just
to,
certain
Okay.
cards.
Okay.
He's going to go all the way down through them until 480p.
Yeah, yeah.
Good, they actually have those. They have that.
No,
Oh
no.
my good God.
No, listen to
What
this.
have they got? Good.
A video of running on 6 gigabytes of VRAM, and it was getting 11 frames a second. And and yes, it didn't look great, but it was still playable. I was like, wow.
Give us 1440p or something. Let me have two main resolutions or something.
All right, at 1440p, the 9070 XT is doing 124. Your card, Trev, the 5080 is doing 107. Again, no upscaling, just 1440p. That's on. But wait a minute now. Wait a minute. That's on low settings. Let's go all the way up to Ultra Nightmare. Not many of us do that one, and it actually still is kind of hanging in there. The 9070 XT is 96. Your card, Trev, is 91, and that's at Ultra Nightmare. What would you run it at, Trev? Do you think? Would you go jazzing all the way to Ultra Nightmare? Or?
I might also try it with multi-frame generation and combine.
Yeah, we're
those
going to
two
do that. We're going to cover that
to see if it makes a difference, because
It does.
then it might
It
be
does.
good enough and shiny
Yeah,
enough.
but
then be careful with multi-frame generation. That's where it can start to get a little bit fuzzy, but you can control it. See if a developer puts that option in. You can go from one fold all the way through to, is it four-fold frame gen? So you can choose if the developer gives you an option.
If you were to go just plain Ultra, it really isn't that much difference. Your card was getting 91, and guess what? At Ultra, you're still getting 91. So you might as well run Ultra Nightmare.
Yeah.
Yep,
Or
I
whatever.
think so.
All right, so let's go to the let's see. Let's go straight to the upscaling. I think we'll skip over some of this stuff and see if I can get. All right, so FSR and DLSS upscaling, they kind of just put the two together. They didn't get too specific, but but it is here. It is here. So if you're doing ultra performance, the 9070 XT 16 gigabytes is getting 176 frames with the scaling on.
Which scaling, sorry? FSR?
This is FSR or DLSS. Well, in this case, it's FSR because it's the AMD.
And tell me if it's 3.1 or 4.0, because these are important.
It doesn't say. It just says
Let's assume it's the highest.
Yeah, they're averaging
4.0.
out. So
Benefit
170.
of the doubt.
However, you'll be happy to know that your card 5080 gets 158 with upscaling. So that's pretty good. If you went down a notch to just performance and not ultra performance, you come out to be, that's kind of weird. No, I guess it's not that weird. The 9070 XT is 151, but why would it be lower than ultra performance?
These are just the odd anomaly you get, and things like that. That's probably normal.
And your 5080 is getting 133. If you come all the way down to let's see, the quality setting. You got ultra performance, performance, balance, and quality, just so you all know.
Quality, yeah.
And they also put in DLSS FSR native. What's native? The lowest the amount of quality you can get?
I would assume it's just turned on and it's at the highest
Default,
version, 4.0 or DLSS
native
4.0.
would suggest that it's not turned on at all.
That's what I would think, yeah. Which would be maybe they did that so you could compare the rest. So I'm not gonna include that. So if you go to quality, which on here would be the lowest of the four, okay, you're still getting 129 on the 97 XT, and you're getting 111 on the 5080. So really, with the you definitely want to play with the upscaling on. I don't see how you would. I especially with a 4070 Super, definitely got to go with the upscaling. So I would think that upscaling would be the way to go. Whether it be, loss of scaling or trying out the first one first, I can understand. So, we'll see. So that's kind of what's going to be going on with Doom, or what you can expect, more or less. But again, it's still the best optimized game out there, regardless. So all
I have
good.
a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this is kind of like stepping back a little bit to when you were talking about the 4K on the 5090 and 4090 at, what was it, about 80-ish FPS?
Mm-hmm.
And just thinking broadly, guys, I know everyone likes their shiny graphics and all has to look good and everything like that, but don't you think if you're outlaying somewhere between $2,000 and $2,500 on your graphics card, which means you're probably shelling out $4,000, $3,500 on your PC, shouldn't you expect more?
I'm hearing an echo from one of you chaps. Is it Mr. Gray? I can hear it twice. I can hear it twice.
I'm not hearing anything. It's your laptop. Throw it out the window.
Yeah, it's a hotel that you stayed in.
It's these. I can hear you twice, not me twice. You twice. Anyway, sorry, interrupt.
I think, well, to answer you, Tarl, I'm always usually expecting more and probably not getting it. You definitely aren't getting it out of the 50 series. I heard also there's driver problems again since Doom's coming out. They're trying to correct them before the game. They noticed it because some players had the early access, so they were able to play the game on the 13th as opposed to the rest of us on the 15th. And they said there's already driver problems with Nvidia. I'm like, geez, man.
Yeah, they released the driver yesterday, didn't they?
Yes, and that's the one that's got problems in it, which is concerning. What's wrong? What is wrong with the driver game these days? It's absolutely appalling.
They're just not testing it properly. No stress testing.
It's because they don't care.
My workplace,
again,
they don't stress test anything. They just go, we tested with 1 or 2 people. It's fine, and then just release it to the global.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, well, we usually put it through 10 quality tests, but because we don't give a crap, we're only going to put it through 2 now. That's about it.
Yes.
So, I mean, and look, hey, it's happening so often. And so I'll give you another, for instance, that peeved me off a little bit. On Assassin's Creed Shadows, I'm having a blast playing the game. But if I have to come down to what was on the previous games as opposed to this game, when they went to their update, the recent update they did on Shadows, they added in stuff that was already in the other games from the start. So I'm like, I don't get it, So in other words, like remember I was complaining about a little bit about the parkouring was bothering me, and I couldn't get off the line of the roof. Well, they're going to fix that, but not until the end of May. But it's not a fix. They consider it an update. And I'm going like, what are you talking about? It's not an update.
That's a feature update.
It's not a priority.
Yeah, and then get this, the update that came out just prior to this one, people were saying they put in the what do you call it, the horse that follows the path. Well, that was always in the original games too. You just click a button and the horse follows the path, or it doesn't if you don't want it to. It was never there from the beginning.
Oh, it would be so.
And I thought that was a bug, and then I find out it's part of the update. Since when did stuff that was supposed to be in the game be an update? So it's already telling you the game still wasn't ready. And we had to give an update to make the horse follow the trail. And the next update coming up is going to have the parkour that was already in all the previous games to begin with at the very beginning. I was amazed. And then the new stuff, they said they just introduced the newer update had a new mission in there. Okay, whatever. So we got to play the new mission. I find out I haven't played the new mission, but I find out the new mission is like 15 minutes long. Doesn't give you anything new, doesn't give you any new weapons, doesn't give you any new armor, doesn't give you anything. It's just a 15-minute mission and you're done. And I'm like, and all the previous Assassin's Creed gave you a special weapon or something to go after. It was a longer episode, like 40 minutes, or more, et cetera, et cetera. And this isn't. And so by the time according to the roadmap, by the time you get to where we should be or should have been when the game came out, it won't be till like June. I'm
Do you
like,
feel better? Do you feel better after that little rant, Griff?
I mean, it just amazes me. But this is another example of how lazy they're getting.
Yeah.
I mean, they even delay the damn game like another 6 months, and they still bring it out, technically not finished, and they try to hide it by saying, "Oh, it's in an update." Oh, and we're going to introduce all this cool parkour stuff in another update coming up. Hello, the game I played before, Mirage, Assassin's Creed Mirage, all that parkouring was already in the game.
How did we get from Doom to Assassin's Creed in this run?
Because we're
great.
talking about
lost.
the idea.
It's
Great.
That's just
great.
I'm trying to
great.
join up the dots and I can't.
It's a tangent thing, but the point is that we were screaming about how well optimized one game is, as opposed to the rest of the industry that can't do it. And this is another example of people that are just like, it's just, I don't know, I don't get it, man.
Yeah.
And then they want us to pay $80 for a game. I'm going to pay $80 for a game that puts out 2 updates, and they're not called bug problems; they're called updates.
Well, this is
A
why
nicer
we
way
need
to
to vote
place
with
it.
our wallets, guys. Right? You know, there's definitely, as we've talked about, an shitification going on
Yes.
of all things.
Yes.
But you know, if that's the case, don't buy the game. You know, and wait until it's fixed and then buy it, and that's a clear signal.
Well,
It'll be cheaper as well.
yeah, but it's a bummer because when you're a fanboy like me, and I'm not saying I don't enjoy a lot of the game, I do, but the thing is, like, those little things should have been baked in at the beginning. That's what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, but you're just enabling them to not to keep doing that, aren't you?
Right.
Not,
What I've been
I mean,
doing
not
is
just
that-
you specifically, but you know.
Of course, they're all against me now. Okay, I purposely been playing the game at a slower pace and actually playing other games a little bit in between on purpose till they come out with the update that's going to give me all the parkouring that I want. You know, because I'm sitting there going like, well, you're going to put all this crap in later. I want it now, and I have to sit there and like wait.
Yeah, but they've got your money already, so they don't give a shit.
Well, it's Xbox, so I mean Ubisoft. I have the yearly, but you're right. It doesn't matter. You know, it's
going
one
away.
way or the other you're paying. So you know.
Right. Well,
Anyway, enough
we'll
of that
need to move
rant.
on.
Did you want to rant too, Trev? Because it says here that you wanted to rant.
Yeah, but it's going to be shorter because if we fully unleashed and ranted, then it may turn off some people and they might tune off, and we probably would fit it in. We would fit it in time. Actually, the most important thing. No, there was something connected to your piece of news, Gray, that I haven't wrote down apart from rant, and it's very, very prevalent now. And I have to say, id Gaming and Doom are very much front and center with this one. The PlayStation 5 copy of Doom, right? The
Mhm.
Blu-ray disc, which can hold 100 gigabytes, has, wait for it, 80 megabytes of Doom data on it.
18 megabytes.
80,
Yeah.
80 megabytes, not gigabytes, megabytes.
So they're giving you a physical, and all it is a little teeny.
It's basically just a downloader app, isn't
It's-
it? You know.
Yeah.
It's a license. It's kind of a license key thing. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's lazy. It isn't. It can't even be penny pinching because at that level, it probably only costs Sony or id Gaming like $1 or a couple of dollars for a disc because they get them in such bulk. And we are at the peak of media like that being really, really cheap. But many of them are like at that. And Nintendo games are big examples of that, although they've got a little bit of an excuse. Their little bit of an excuse is their cartridges do cost a good bit more. Like they always have. You remember N64 games, they were really expensive for the time because they were still on those cartridges. Now they're moving up to 64 gigabytes. And now they're actually advertising it as a feature. Cyberpunk coming to the Switch too. Oh, it'll be on a 64 gigabyte SD Express card, like it's a feature. Like, no. Whereas a lot of them are still bringing out a 16 gig card or an 8 gig card and then saying you have to download the rest of the content. So I get it, like, it's kind of ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. It's so cheap. I really don't get why id Gaming are doing this. They also, not them, but who's it that made Indiana Jones, the
Oh
recent
gosh.
game? Do you remember?
Yeah, I can't.
But whoever made that, it escapes me. They are the same. There's another example. The game would fit on the disc easy. They're not bringing it out like that. So I really don't understand. I would like to. If they're saying they're penny pinching, they're penny pinching for the sake of a dollar or two. It must be down to something else. I wish someone would get to the bottom of it and tell us what it is. Just be honest.
I think, Trevor, I think it's a
Bethesda.
control thing. I think it's a control thing. I don't think it's being cheap, and I don't think it's being lazy. I think it's a control thing, right? So companies want you to be on their platform. They want you to be on their live service game. So by doing this, they make sure that you have to go to their platform, and I think I think it's just as simple as that.
Well, you just reminded me of something there, possibly, that it could be a control thing. The amount of times a game leaks because a game is sold to a distributor, right? Amazon, whatever, a copy gets found out early from the warehouse and sold online or played online too early, and that's a way to sometimes leak the game. If you don't actually have anything on the game apart from the license, you're in control in that. But if you don't have great internet, that's really not fair. So, no, they're at it. I don't think they have an alibi with that one. But yeah, just when you were talking about Doom, Gray, I went, it's kind of disappointing that Ed Gaming are now part of the shenanigans, but it is what it is. Move on. I'm a ray of sunshine with the not very positive news articles today, but unfortunately, you tend to find that the negative stuff is more newsworthy than the positive stuff. And I will do positive stuff, of course I will, but a recent report came out, and this has happened before, actually, more than one article, that found, for example, UK consumer spending on video games last year saw a decrease for the first time since 2019. And we've covered a couple articles like this where console purchases and whatnot went down as well. Now they're actually saying the same on video games. I'm kind of not surprised. The many things that are coming out of COVID, the cost of the living crisis is really making people look at how much they can afford. Game prices going up. They're going, right, listen, we've got massive libraries. We're actually listening to Trev all these times when he said, look at your Steam library. You get a shit ton of games. Maybe go and try looking through them for something to play. Same with Epic, same with GOG, whatever. You've got plenty. And that's why I don't buy many games. Not with the Game Passes we've got. I would rather just go and play games that I like, that I know I like, and I want to give a try to. It went on to say that the valuation for 2024 was £7.63 billion, so about $10.19 billion, and that was down from 7.82 billion or 10.44. So slowly but surely, people are just realizing that, can I screw this? I would rather put food in my belly than buy a game, especially if it's full of bugs and it doesn't have the full game on the bloody disc. Sorry, I'm still
bitter about that one. Does it have a percentage drop there, by the way? Because I can't do that kind of math in my head.
No, they don't give you a percentage for that, and I'm certainly not doing that math. But it does say slight, and when you say 7.63 to 7. Sorry.
Let me take out my calculator.
7. Great, 7.82. 7.82 down to 7.63. That is slight, to be fair. So
it's not very much.
2% or something, right?
Yeah, but it's been year upon year since 2019. So I don't think I see the 2019 rates. No, I don't. But that says it all. So it's been slight ever since for the last 6 years, and it seems to be. I don't get this one. Box software, so actual physical software there, or with games actually, disc and whatnot, 34% year on year, and digital PC games were down 1.8. So I'm surprised why the physical stuff is actually going down more. Really am there.
It's because they don't give us physical anymore. That's fine.
Yeah, no, I just think they're stopping
very rare.
They want to keep it alive, though. I mean,
they're not going to keep it alive. They're going to give you a box now.
Yeah.
They're going to
Empty box.
like you experienced from Doom. They're going to give you a box with nothing in it except maybe a picture of whatever the game is, and then just say, here's your physical, the nice box, and and that's about it. It's almost kind of like if you were to equate it to the music industry, it's almost the same thing. When I was collecting, of course, I collected albums, and albums were big. And it was great. You had the picture, you had all the stuff on it. You could read about all the musicians, blah, blah. Then they come out with CDs, and it gets to be this big, and then CD's gone, and now it's just all Spotify and or whatever, and that's it. And it's kind of going that way with the games too.
Oh, you wanted in there, man. You need to force your way in when Grey Gamers on.
I just like this.
No, I think again it just comes down to a control thing, right? Because they want you on their live service platform. So I think if they realise that we're not making as many box games anymore. I think that's just on purpose, honestly, because there's no point in them making the actual box and the cartridge or the CD or whatever. If all it is just a little license, they might as well just scrap that. So it makes sense to me.
So look at your actual physical game these days compared to 10 years ago or 15 years ago. There's less in it. You used to get a manual and stuff in there. Maybe you got a free poster in there or some
discount
advertisements. Now you get a sheet of paper, don't you, if you're lucky?
Yeah.
And then when you look inside, like a Switch box is the biggest example of that. The Switch box should be similar to what a 3DS box was, but they make it almost as big as a PlayStation and Xbox game where it's got a tiny disc in it. Why? What a waste of plastic,
Just a waste,
man, when you're
absolutely.
putting bugger all paper in it.
Because you have to go to a live service platform to play it anyway. So what's the point? I think, and by the way, I just want to be clear, I'm for this. I think, why waste money on the physical copy when you just have to download it and play on the live service platform?
Here's the difference, though. So they're not going to make the physical anymore. So that means technically they should bring the cost of the digital down for us. No, they just bring it up.
Please.
So we don't. They're saving money and then they're raising the prices at the same time.
It's usually the same, Gray. That's the thing. I don't. They think they're doing us a favour by making the physical the same as the digital, or the digital same as the physical. That's not how it works, guys. It's not how it works, but
the tactics they're using are as old as the hills. They sit there and they over the course of however many months, they'll sit there and they'll take a car, let's say that cost $10,000, and then they price it up to 15, and then they leave it that way for a while, and then they price it back to 11, and go, wow, what a reduction in price! They're still getting more money than they originally planned. They just. Yeah. Same tricks. It's just a different age.
Different
same
page, yeah.
Right. Well, we'll move on because there's a amount of information to get through today, and we'll try not all rant. We might have some positive news in at some point, but we are still on the. Well, yeah. I'm trying to be a controlled, constructed rant. Console prices, tariffs, boys. It's kind of relevant to what we do and talk about and play, unfortunately. And it will affect PC gamers
positively
as well. It does suck, man. It really does suck. And we mostly play PC. Then we will get affected somewhat on like components that we need to buy and whatnot. And we don't know if it'll affect games at this stage. It could come in. The Orange Man could bring this in at any time, man. It just depends if he's had a good day or not, I guess. People are saying the peoples, in terms of the analysts and experts, think console prices could rise, and this is giggity at this, could rise by as much as 69% in the US due to Trump tariffs. I would be surprised if Trump actually wrote that tariff out because it's 69. He just went, it's 69, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll make it that. That's what it's based on. He just makes things up. I'm not surprised by that one little bit because something I didn't write down or put in the notes here, but it triggered something that I remember from before was Sony are actually looking for the first time, not the first time, but the first time since the tariff prices came in, to increase the price of their PlayStations in the States. And I didn't think they would touch that. And I'm a bit annoyed already that Sony have increased the price recently since the tariffs come in other countries, but not the US. And to be fair to Gray, who's he's one of many good, proud Americans. I won't slate the States this time. They get a buy this time, but maybe next week I might go back to it. I don't know.
So are they suggesting, sorry to interrupt, but are they suggesting that people are going to pay, what, $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 for a console?
I just get that 5090 that I'm supposed to have.
Well, let me change that question slightly, right? Let me spin it slightly, Taro. Yes, it'll probably be the next generation of console. People have been saying that. Will the next gen, the PS6, the Xbox, X times 300 minus 4, because I can't think of a better bloody name because they've got crap names, Xbox. They are probably going to make their next console. I wouldn't be surprised if the one with like the physical media, like the disk drive and whatnot, or the Pro edition of it, wouldn't be surprised if it was $1,000.
Well, it's got to be more though, right? Because I mean, it's what 750 for the Pro version of something or other at the moment. I forget which one.
It's 500.
And you know, add 70% onto that, and that's a fair bit more than a 1,000.
You're just under double.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
it's like,
that's like 1,400, 1,500.
I
to
think
put-
it's
to-
worst case.
to put a little relevance on it over here, at least as of the time we're recording this, the U.S. and China, et cetera, have entered into an agreement that supposedly is all going well, and we'll see. But the talk about how much percentage and how much tariff continues to go up and down every day. So as of today, then the tariffs are going to be brought back quite a bit, all the way back down to reasonable levels again. But let me preface that by saying that's today. So you can imagine when they're sitting there trying to price these things, they're going like, okay, well, it's going to cost this much money. Oh, wait, the tariffs went down. Okay, now it's going to cost this much money. Oh, wait, it went back up again. Now it's going to cost this much money.
What is the point of all this nonsense? What is the point?
He's
We're back
causing
at square
havoc, man. He's causing havoc, boys. It's all over the place. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can't make up. People can't plan shit in business.
Exactly.
It keeps putting up and down like a fucking yo-yo. So
Now,
What's he trying to achieve? I don't get it.
here's what's going to happen, I think, and I'm sorry to say this is the way sometimes the state of affairs, right? This is what I think is going to happen. We'll see if this is going to be right. The tariffs will come back down to the normal level. They'll have an agreement between all countries. Everything will be cool. It'll be a little bit more maybe than last time, but it'll be considerably less than the 145% that they've been hiking it, right? But what's going to happen is that the companies that are making our games and our consoles are going to go, all right, so when the tariff was 145, we were selling it for $1,000. When it wasn't 145, we were selling it for $500. So when the tariffs go back down to where they're supposed to be, we'll sell it for $750. You know that's going to happen. They're going to take advantage of this, and they're going to get more money out of us, and then say, "Oh, the tariffs went down. Look, it would have cost you $1,000. Oh, that means you're going to give it to me for $500, right? Oh, well, no, it's going to have to be at least a couple hundred more than that. I mean, because we had problems and and we lost a lot of money and I hope not, but I got a funny feeling that's what's going to happen.
There'd be loads.
So, question, guys, like specifically to you, would you pay $1,000+ for a console?
Not
Nope.
one
that's
bit,
what I'm
no.
finding out.
Nope.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
finding out. Yeah,
I'll get a graphics card instead.
You can't get a good one for $1,000.
Yeah, there you go.
yeah. No, I'd be out then, boys. Safe to say. No, like I said, keep that rant to a minimum because that's a whole kind of segment pod in its own potentially. Yeah. We'll put that one to bed, leave it be. A little cheeky thing happened with Nvidia, no surprise there. Their RTX 5060, which is either just out or about to come out. I saw this in J2Sen's video. I like that guy. He's kind of down to earth and says it. He doesn't kiss people's arses like just for a product and whatnot. He will slay Nvidia and he'll go out and buy the card, and he doesn't care if they pull the card away from him. So across the board, not just with J, Nvidia won't be releasing their drivers before the official launch day. Normally they release them several days or a couple of weeks beforehand for journalists to kind of review it and whatnot. So literally day one, even if he got a card early, he couldn't actually run it till day one. Nvidia supposedly doesn't want reviewers to go live before the sales actually commence. What are they fucking hiding? And bear in mind, this is the 8
It's
is this
shit.
the 8
That's what they're
gigabyte
hiding.
card.
Yeah, it's shit.
So
It's unneeded.
What are you hiding, guys? What are you hiding?
Yeah, so the hype will be there, and they're just going to sit there and just go along with it. It's insane. There's so many games being played at our expense, literally our expense, that it's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm. I think what they're trying to do, guys, is when you've got a video card that is essentially identical apart from the VRAM, 8 and 16, what they're hoping is that everyone will review the one that the only one that they're allowed to review, which is the 16 gigabyte, and they'll give it fairly positive scores, right? And then what they've done is been super shady, and you can tell how shady they're being here, right? Because all of the YouTubers or anyone in tech basically will be literally on a plane going to Computex at the time of the launch of the 8 gigabyte version, so they won't be able to do the review of the 8 gigabyte version. So it'll just get forgotten, right?
Mate.
So what will happen is your average Joe will just go out to the shop and like, oh yeah, I saw the review of the 5060. It was pretty positive. I'm going to get that one. Oh look, this one's a bit cheaper than that one. I'll take that one, please. And they end up with a hunking piece of crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so shady what they're doing. This is possibly the most shady Nvidia I think have ever been.
They seem to top themselves all the time. We've been talking about this shadiness with them for the last 4 years.
This is the worst for sure. This is the
This
worst
is what
because
happens when there's no competition at the top end. When there's no competition at the top end, this is what happens, boys.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
exactly.
it's reality.
I don't like it.
We'll move on from them. I just found that very sneaky. May the 19th it's coming out, by the way, guys. So by the time you listen to this, it will just be a few days round the corner, to be honest with you.
Sorry for the rant again. All we're doing is ranting. So
No, that's okay. Believe me, people like to hear it because this is the normal folk. We're the
I've
normal
got some
folk
positive news.
complaining.
I've got some positive news in my section just to let you all know. Okay.
Yeah, we don't want
Alright,
we don't need to do that. We want to stick with the rant. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, this is the nectar section, the nectar corner. So one for Matt and Gray, some pisser news for you.
Yay.
You do like your pisser, as you've dubbed
Gotta
it,
get your pisser on.
PSSR.
Yeah.
It's the pisser is going to evolve, boys.
Well,
Oh.
super pisser. Mega piss.
That would have been a good one. They should have done that.
Pisser Max Plus.
Yeah, that's it.
Pisser Plus, yeah.
Pisser Pro.
Um,
Pisser
Maybe
with tissue.
piss on this.
it doesn't have a cool name. I wish
Pisser
it
offer.
did. I wish it did. It's not. It's PSSR 2. Original. I know. They're
Pisser
not
number
listening to
2.
you. They're not watching our pod. Is the problem?
No.
Right. So this is what happens. No. It will be. Right. So when the PS5 Pro came out, people were saying PSSR is not as impressive as AMD's FSR 4.0. It's more the equivalent of 3.1 or 3.2, right? And I agree with that. And when we found out Sony were one of the leads behind 4.0 coming out, I was like, oh, why are you not getting in amongst it? I think AMD has some exclusivity with that, which is fine.
I don't think it was done in time either. Possibly.
True, because you have to adapt it for the PlayStation as opposed to just a dedicated AMD GPU. So I get that, but it will be coming. We don't know when. It will feature higher image quality, wider resolution offerings, and proper support for 4K 120 or 8K 60 FPS. Now, just a rumor, but it's a rumor that makes sense that I would actually put some money in. The thing with PSSR, as good as it is for a console, it does have some limitations. Now, I'm trying to find off the top of my head, I don't recall, but it only works from resolutions of something like 800 something p up, which is not ideal. You're wanting it to potentially work from lower resolutions and go up so you have more to work with. So that's probably what's going to be happening, and it'll probably be closer to FSR 4.0, if not on par with it. And it should be, considering there's AMD silicon in there and Sony worked closely with them. So I'm excited by that because the Pro doesn't feel like a Pro at the moment. But being honest, it is better than the original because it's got a bigger GPU. It does. It physically has a bigger GPU, and the
It's not by
CPU
much
is
though, right?
No, well, no, the GPU's 40% better,
Oh,
faster.
okay, it is much.
Yeah, no, it's 40, but the CPU is the key thing for increasing the FPS a lot of the time, as you know, Tarlin.
Yeah.
It's the same CPU for continuity reasons, for when you want to be able to make the same game as a developer for the same kind of two platforms. So the CPU stayed the same, but they had an unlock option of you could boost it by 10% at the expense of GPU's 1%. I would rather take the GPU down 1 to put the CPU up 10, 100% any day of the week. So yeah, I think if and when this comes out, it will actually feel like me as a pro owner will actually feel like I'm getting more bang for my buck, and it will be because thing is, the PlayStation 4 Pro felt more of a pro on launch than its base unit did its equivalent. So, yeah, no, that's kind of exciting. We don't know any more than that. It's just a rumor. We don't know when it'll happen, if it'll happen, but it makes bloody sense. So, yeah, let's look forward to that one as pro. Well, I'm a pro user, I guess. And the last one, I do want you boys' input in this one. I don't know if you remember, this was a still ongoing thing. The FTC in America, kind of the regulator, the regulation kind of body side of things that were trying to take Microsoft to court and kind of try and block their Activision Blizzard deal. They lost their
That was
appeal
years ago.
just recently. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. That's how long these things take, and it was finally thrown out of court. Can you imagine if the court sided with the FTC, oh, you're going to have to break up what you've already had together for the last 2 years? Can you imagine the mess of trying to break that up again? Oof.
I thought this was already approved by. Wasn't it stuck in the UK courts for a while, and they approved it?
Yeah.
Right.
So why is it going again? I don't understand.
Oh, the FTC are just. I thought the Trades Commission in the UK were better. The FTC are like, hold my beer. We've really got some. We've been watching the EGP podcast, and we know how to rant with the best of them. So, no, it's ridiculous, boys. I mean, listen, you could have had your reservations at the time of this deal not going through. I get it, and I wouldn't go for or against your opinion. I respect it because there was good and bad points about this merger. But for a good bit at the end, was like, let's just make it go ahead. I think it'll be a good thing. And so far, it has been proven as us as gamers, it's been a good thing for us. So, I mean,
More stuff for Game Pass. Yay.
Yeah,
that's always it.
Game Pass is on a roll, boys. Like, Game Pass is smashing it out the park. Great value. I can't complain. I generally can't complain.
Yeah.
Even if they put the prices up this year on the Game Pass, I couldn't complain. Still value. It's the best subscription value I've got of all and include the streaming ones in that as well. But yeah, so what I was going to do, being cheeky as the host, and I had it set up like this last week, to be fair. It's not hardware news, but I did have it here. I added it in last minute, and this was a kind of big deal. It is a cheeky bit of gaming news at the start because it will tie in with what we want to do. And Carl, you're welcome as well. I don't know if it's your cup of tea or not, but we're saying to the boys we'd like to crack on with some Destiny 2 stuff because they've actually went and released some juicy information about their next update, which is massive, absolutely massive. They're changing the whole shebang, so bear with me, boys. I won't read it all because it goes into detail quite a lot, but their new update coming out in July this year, very quick compared to last year. They've changed things about massively and how they do this. They're calling this update Edge of Fate. I watched the trailer before, looked really good. I enjoyed the last DLC, actually. I had fun with that. So July launch for that. The next 3 expansions, including the Star Wars inspired Renegades, also announced. Now, I would have told you boys about this last week, but both Gray and I had absolutely horrendous technical issues, and we just had to cut the pod short. So, on behalf of all of us, sorry about last week. Gray done the best he could with his editing Yoda skills. He is the Yoda of the podcasting editing business. So, cheers, Gray.
Editing, I do. Yeah, that's
first price on me. But yeah, but at least we got an hour's out worth. So yeah, we're sticking in the Destiny 2 stuff at the moment. I didn't watch the showcase, wished I had. So they're changing things about, like I say. Really looking forward to the Star Wars stuff. As much as I hate to admit it, Gray and I are Trekkies first and foremost. I don't mind a bit of Star Wars. But the majority of people tend to prefer Star Wars over Star Trek, so I don't think we're getting any Star Trek content in Destiny, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I know. But the next best thing,
There'll be
we'll
mods.
get to ride a bit on hover bikes. Not hover bikes. What are the bikes called in Star Wars?
You need,
For
you know,
bikes.
but
Yeah.
by the way,
Speeders.
Speeder bikes.
Speeders.
Yeah.
just so you know, sometimes not seeing Star Trek content like we would Star Wars is not always because of the companies that like the people are putting together Destiny.
Oh, don't
It's
start
also
that rant, mate.
no, it's not a rant. It's just that some of the legalities involved with the way they protect the Star Trek franchise is not. In other words, the Star Wars franchise is more free giving of that kind of stuff, whereas the Star Trek franchise is not.
Yeah,
So-
you wouldn't
No.
want Ubisoft
Hans?
grabbing onto Star Trek, would you?
Hans was upset, very upset. You know, no. Well, it makes sense, right? At the moment, I think it's still in place. I'll need to check. Haven't played it in a little while. There was some skins and stuff, some Star Wars skins already in the game. They have been for a little
Yeah.
while. They look cool. I'm going to buy some of them, not all of them, because to buy all of them, it's like 50, 60 pounds to buy all of them. I'll pick and choose some nice ones where I could be a stormtrooper or I could be Darth Vader himself. And instead of getting a sword out, I'll get my lightsaber out, that kind of thing. And they're just tying in with it. I play a game on my phone called Monopoly Go. You guys might know that. They've tied in with Star Wars. It's Star Wars themed for a little while. My piece going around the board is Princess Leia. Come on.
You'd make a good princess.
Yeah, I would actually, mate.
yeah.
And you grab me by the bun, sorry,
Skill
no,
buns,
that's X-rated stuff.
Hey,
Yeah,
it could be worse. It could have been
That's the
Jar
wrong
Jar
kind of Star
Binks.
Wars.
So, you know.
But yeah, so 2 further expansions are coming later on. So they've changed how this kind of works actually now. There were some major discussions on kind of how Destiny's got its roadmap for games coming out over the next kind of several years, because we won't see a Destiny 3 anytime soon. A key one that players will appreciate is Bungie will no longer... I'm going to read this back twice. Not taking the piss, I'm reading it back twice on purpose. The key thing is Bungie will no longer charge for seasonal content. I repeat,
Oh, he just had
Bungie
a
will
heart attack.
no longer charge for seasonal content, meaning that when you buy the latest expansion for Destiny 2,
That's it.
you won't have to fork out more when the season kicks off in order to get every bit of narrative content. I mean, that's a win for the gamer. That's brilliant. I just pay for a DLC and I will get the extra gubbins free on top of that. I love that. To get ourselves up for this, Edge of Fate will kick off what Bungie calls the Fate Saga, which will unfold over several years. My God, Bungie, you're milking that, son. With new and old characters at the core of a story like Freyra Ikora, who, if you play Destiny, you'll know that name. It'll centre around a group called the Nine, described as celestial bodies that have been around longer than the Traveller or Grey Gamer, because he's pretty old as well, and representing each of the planets. Sorry, Greg, I had to do it. Representing each of the planets minus Pluto and the Sun, Edge of Fate will take players to the edge of the Sol Galaxy to a planetoid called Kepler. I wonder where they got that from, Greg. Where players will find new dark matter abilities to take advantage of. And it's also introducing what it calls a Metroidvania style of play with abilities like Matter Spark, which allow you to transform into a rolling ball of electricity and resembles the ball that Samus herself
I
rolls
was going to
into.
say, what?
It's all right to borrow from other games as long as you don't play your eyes, I say, you know. We'll also get to see environmental puzzles. Oh, no, puzzles. No, I don't play Destiny for puzzles.
I like the rolling ball, but can you be 2 so you can have 2 rolling ball? No?
Rolling
Only
balls.
if you got a shuffle in the middle.
I'll make your balls roll if you keep interrupting me, boy. Nah. Some puzzles, man. If you like that, that's power to you.
Yeah, I know you like it a lot.
No. And we have a narrative prologue to the Edge of Fate in July. 3 dungeons. I don't know how I feel about the dungeons. Called Explorer, Eternity, and Ultimatum have been made available today. Well, it was probably a week ago and that's what Scythe was probably talking about to you, Matt, in terms of the dungeons when we get you up to speed. Now, I know. In fact, I'll start with Taro. Taro, have you got this game? Have you played it? Do you like it? Because I know the other boys have got it.
No, and no.
Kick him
Oh,
off!
no.
Who said that?
You're tagging again, then.
Thank you very much, Samson. No,
Bye-bye. Hey,
Sorry,
it's not
boys.
a cup of tea,
As somebody
boys.
said,
I need to interrupt for a second, Trev, though, because this is something that I think I wonder about, and I think a lot of listeners would too. If you haven't played in quite some time, which would be me, what do you have to? How much money do you have to spend to be able to catch up to the new DLC coming out? Because that's important. Because before you would have to well, you don't have to buy this, but you have to buy that. You don't have to buy this, but you have to buy that.
I can only partially answer that question. I don't know is the proper answer, but because I don't actually know the amount. However, what Bungie do to make things seamless for players, if you've jumped into a DLC, more recent DLC or the latest DLC, and you've missed a couple of them, they will often you can jump ahead to the present. And your light level goes to like a up-to-date base level, so you're not behind. Now, Matt, in fact, I'll let Matt take this next bit. Matt is playing and catching up with the help of Mr. Scythe here, so that he can get up to the latest DLC. Now, not all of it's mandatory, but Matt, can you tell us from your experience what you're doing to catch up and the little kind of things that you go through to get there?
everything.
How much you have to spend to do it?
All of the things.
Yeah. There's a lot of missions to go through. There's like a whole time line, isn't there, that you have to go through. There's previous missions that you have to go through as well. It's epically. There's tons.
There's mandatory stuff, but you don't need to do all of it. Am I right in saying you have to do certain things and you can choose others?
There is specific ones that you need to do to get on to the next part, and it'll tell you which ones you need to go through. It's not all very slimlined. Like, you really have to look at what you actually have to do to find where you to go.
Yeah.
So that bit they could have made a little bit easier to follow. So I always go off on a tangent, or I'll end up doing. I think it was the latest mission I was doing, which I wasn't supposed to be doing. It just put me there, and I got my ass caned a bit.
Yeah.
Let's just say it was a harsh one. But yeah, then I ended up getting back on to where I should be. So yeah, there is quite a lot to go through. But if you got a gang that's with you, it can go through quite quickly. So
yeah,
it's very possible. It's very possible.
Well, help you boys get up to date. Listen, I'm not in a rush for this one. I'm not. It's not as if I need to play the DLC in day one. Like, I've completed the main story element of the last DLC, not all the bells and whistles, and then I went and bought the season pass and never played much of the season pass, which is a waste of money. I know, but things happen. Life got in the way. We will play it, and like this Matt says, there are elements that you click on the screen that will take you through like a timeline kind of thing, the things that you need to click on, play to progress to the current level. And I think Gray gets a bit upset about this, but I'm going to say it regardless. I definitely need you, Mr. Gray, when you do a quick break just for Destiny 2 to not only stick in the trailer, but the Star Wars teaser, because the Star Wars teaser's cool. You just see them going along and the noise of the bikes. That's pretty cool, actually. I won't lie.
Yeah. See, I think I'm guesstimating that I'm about 2, maybe 3 DLCs behind. That's not counting the newest one. So but I'm just curious, like, how many of those they'll make me buy, or would I buy the new one and they'll just say like, you're okay.
That's what I think. What the hell
was
that?
What does it mean?
Matt, I told you not to get your lightsaber out on the podcast, man. What did I tell you, mate? You know it's him. He's a cheeky chap. It's always a Matt. I've been down.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Getting your lightsaber out in public again, man. I think, Gray, to answer your question, they won't make you buy them all, because that would be harsh. I think if you buy the latest one, they kind of turbocharge you through it. I think that's only fair. But I don't truly know the accurate answer to that. We might have to do a bit of digging and find out. Because that would be harsh. That would be really harsh if they'd done that.
Spend over $10 I'm out. No, only kidding.
No,
I think it's about 20 quid to get the latest good one. £20, 17 for the one previously. So it's reasonable.
Tell you, that's a question. That's a question for Google AI, Gemini. I ask it all kinds of stuff, man. It'd probably be able to give you an accurate answer as well, actually, to be fair. Right. Anyway, we'll leave that, because let's say there's loads of bloody trailer content it'll take for absolutely ever. So thank you for your patience, peoples. We'll be getting into that soon. Mr. Matt, the floor is yours with some game news.
Only
Yeah.
games. I need my own little thing. Only games.
Is that your jingle? I better not be.
Yes.
Shit.
Don't worry, I'll cover it
Gamey.
with the segment intro. It's okay.
Yeah.
Leave it to the
Thank
pros.
you.
Don't cover that up. That was
Definitely.
great.
Okay, I'll put it in there.
Games, do little dance. Do
Oh
little
my God.
games.
Oh, it's not.
Is this an actual
It's
game or
like
what?
cats.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was, yeah. I have. Well, it's more of a what's out now kind of couple of good ones that kind of hit the old noggins. Not the ones that I was playing recently because they only just came out today. Yeah, today. Yesterday came out.
The regular
But,
game or demo?
No, regular one.
Okay.
Yeah. So these ones have been released. I'm trying to find out where I was now. Yeah.
Empyreal.
Okay. Empyreal.
Something like that, yeah.
There you go. So this was an action RPG that's been released last week for PC, PS5, and Xbox. No Nintendo's mentioned in here at all. Terms and conditions apply. The game promises an immersive experience with very rich storyline, dynamic combat mechanics, stunning visuals, which they do look pretty epic. I actually downloaded it. I haven't played it yet. Just been watching the thing.
Wait, I have to interject. Do you realize every
Yeah.
game that ever comes out, they all say the same thing? Stunning visuals.
Stunning. Yeah. I mean, they are quite sharp, to be honest. But then that's just the trailer, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's what I had to actually go onto Twitch to actually see what the gameplay was like. But it didn't really show much. Yeah, so this is a journey through a fantastical world, battling formidable foes as usual, hidden secrets. Oh, he's gone. The games are designed to offer a blend of action-packed gameplay and role-playing elements. The soundtrack is actually really nice on there as well.
Yeah.
There's a couple of songs in there people would know and go, oh, yeah. So this one's going for £22.49, but they still actually have a demo available. So you can always try that one. Another one that is out that week as well was Pixelshire, which is another RPG, life simulation thing. That's going for £14.23. There's no demo for that one. That one's gone. But that one is pretty much exactly the same as Stardew Valley. Those type of games, the farming simulator style. Go off and do your quests style gameplay. You build, you manage your town, interact with characters, explore different areas of the world. Empyreal.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, there's definitely better. Yeah, Pixelshire, it's just been done so many times. I don't know why they have to do it again, because I think, was it Coral Town, is it called?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one has a better graphics and it looks exactly the same. So yeah, I'd definitely say Empyreal is a lot better, a lot sharper, more exciting.
I saw some of the gameplay in Empyreal, whatever we're calling it. That looked good. It didn't look bad at all. It did look a little Destiny 2-ish, though.
It does.
We were just talking about it.
Yeah.
But it matches. Yeah, absolutely, it matches it. But yeah, I've been playing the Precinct mostly since this came out yesterday. Absolute epic 80s fun. Should give it a go. I think they have a demo still. It's only 20 odd quid.
Is it about the police?
It is. Yeah. So I did a review on that before, didn't I? So yeah.
Is it like Police Simulator then, or like Popo Simulator? Like how's that? What?
Yeah, so it's a typical top-down adventure from the 80s, storytelling side game, where you're a cop and you have to go around arresting people, of course, doing cop stuff. With
18 donuts?
18 donuts. Well, hot dogs. They have hot dogs there. I haven't seen a donut yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're helping people with gangs, you're arresting people, and it's very much an old-style sort of driving, like GTA, where you smash into people and shoot, which is quite interesting. It is fun, and half of the stuff there, not the buildings, but the roads, the things on the side. You got jumps, you got destructible barriers, cars blow up. It's great fun.
Burnout Paradise?
No.
This sounds like a little bit.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, you can do racing in there, which is quite interesting. But yeah, it follows a trail of this cop guy who lost his dad from the gangs, who was a cop as well. So you're kind of like going in there to find out who done it, and you do that. Yeah, that's it. So you got skill tree as well, things to upgrade. You get different cop cars as you upgrade. So yeah, it's fun. It's exciting. There are the NPCs, or the little people that are walking around next to you. Some of them come up with the most weirdest of things. I walked past one, and they were shouting out the they mostly come out at night, mostly.
Yeah,
as I walk past them. Yeah. So I just like, oh, aliens, ooh, yeah. So yeah, it is quite interesting. It's quite fun. Half the things that you do there has been stitches.
I was thinking about when you said there's upgrades to the cop car. So I'm sitting there going like, so they have one without a light, one with a light, one with a different color light.
No, you upgrade the vehicle. So you got like the normal cruiser, and then you got a 4x4, and then I think you got an undercover one and something else as well, which is blocked from my views until I pass that certain level. So
4x4, cool. Does it have like a cannon on it or anything?
No.
Oh man.
Sexy light.
Sucks.
Yeah, it's very retro, very 80s. The music's very 80s as well. It's very up there with Vice City style goings on. So yeah.
Well, see, I can identify with that. You guys can't, but I could.
Yeah, there you go. See.
Excellent. Cool. That you, Mr. Matt?
That is me for now. Yes.
Little side tangent. You might be interested in this, Matt. Maybe grain time. The new Destiny DLC, Edge of Fate. It's normally $34.99, so I'd imagine that's probably like $40 or something. So that's about DLC price. That's fair. If you go to CD keys, you will get it for £25, $25.99. So that's actually a decent. That's a 25% off. That's pretty. I'm going to probably buy that after this, to be fair. So just to let you know. Right, excellent. Thanks for that, Mr. Matt. Tarl, you've actually had to save up some hardware news because of last week. You poor thing. So go for it, man. Hit us with your best.
All right, thanks, guys. And I just wanted to start with my happy news. Remember, I said I had some happy news.
Happy news, yes.
Yeah, it's been reported that a fireman saved a cat from a tree, and that's really nice. So anyway, moving on.
Did they burn the tree down to get it?
Yeah, no, it's all happy. It's all happy.
Oh.
But we're gonna move on back.
It was too much news for Gray. He's gone off to find a cat.
Yeah.
He's thrown his dog up the tree.
That was a brilliant.
When I'm done with this, I'm calling my ISP and I'm going to stab him.
It was
so funny. He saved a cat. Fireman saved a cat. That was the gaming to do. So it's that hardware news from Tar. That's nice.
That's it. I'm done. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, well, I heard it all.
Yeah. What did the cat have to say?
Pregnant pause and go again. Go ahead.
No. Well, the cat said that there has been some new rumors in the world of graphics cards, and you guys may know there's a guy called Kepler L2 who does quite a lot of the leakage of things, mainly just
Kepler
GPU
leakage.
rumors. There's a couple of there's a couple of things that have been found out in some code, which I won't go into the details, but oh god, it's really tough to. I'm hearing myself in my own earphones. I don't know who it is.
It's Trev's.
It's disturbing.
Can't be. That'll probably be Gray or Matt because they've got the speakers.
I got my thing on.
No, you don't.
It must be Gray.
It's Gray then. Sorry, I take it back.
Test.
We'll blame Gray.
Test.
We'll blame Gray.
Okay, no, seems fine now. So yeah, I'm not going to spoil you guys.
I love it.
No, it doesn't need to be perfect, Gray. It's banter.
It doesn't need to be perfect. No, it's
but this is what everyone knows about. Like, what are they talking about?
Yeah,
you should
they
go
know
with
we have
the
technical
zero
issues.
editing mantra.
It's part of course. Anyway, Mr. Tar.
Anyway, yeah. So I'm not going to bore you all with all of the super nerdy technical stuff because it's all kind of like code from the kernels, and that's not the chicken.
Can't hear an
Matt,
echo
by the
now.
way.
Oh, secret spaces.
But there are two cool bits of news, which are apparently the new code names for the AMD and Intel cards, being GFX 13 for AMD and XE4 Druid for Intel. So the bit that interests me there is that people have been talking about Intel again for like, I don't know, the third or fourth time removing themselves from the GPU market, and that's been heavily rumored, I think, over a few times over the last couple of years. But as someone famous once said, rumors of Intel's demise have been greatly exaggerated, because they are working on their fourth generation. So Celestial, which is their third generation, which we haven't even seen yet, is probably getting towards the end of its development. So this is great news. So Intel are hopefully still working very hard on trying to get into this very, very difficult market. So I'm happy about that. And the other cool bit from this is that AMD. This is something that passed me by, actually. I wanted to ask you about this, guys. So you know how Nvidia have got their CUDA cores, right? Well, AMD don't really have anything like that, or at least they didn't, because they've been working on something called UDNA, which is, I think, Unified DNA, and it's essentially an equivalent to the Nvidia CUDA cores, and the RDNA or the next generation of AMD cards are going to include this technology. This just passed me by. Does anyone else know about this?
Yeah,
I've heard of it. Definitely. Yeah.
I've been following for at least 10 years. No, only kidding.
I honestly had no idea they were going down this route. So I think what this means is that they're going to be, whether it's this generation coming or the next one, they're probably going to be in a much, much better position to compete on things like upscaling and ray tracing, because the unified architecture that Nvidia have with CUDA cores is what makes that possible, essentially. So yeah, that's really cool. And that kind of puts me. There's another thing that I think I wanted to talk about last week, and I kind of forgotten what it was, but it's still in the docket, so I'm just going to talk about it now. Which is that AMD's UDNA, which we've just mentioned, could potentially bridge the ray tracing performance gap with Nvidia. So this is going to be really good. I think it will help to sort of strengthen the market and have a much better competition, but it'll also be good for the console gamers, I guess, on the PlayStation side, because this should lead to much, much better graphical capability in the next PlayStation as well. So what do you guys think? Do you think this is going to be a really positive thing? Do you think you could see AMD competing with Nvidia finally in the next couple of generations?
Not in the high end. Not in the high end.
Really? No?
I think AMD will compete in the high end eventually. I think what they're doing, unlike Nvidia in some ways, is they're doing what they can do when they can do it, instead of putting out something, and trying to do catch up and making it a lousy product. So they can only go as fast as they can go. So however long it takes, I think they will compete or come pretty damn close. You
don't think so, Trev?
Well, they're not doing it this generation, are they? They're not competing in the high end. To be fair to them, they did say that they were going to skip the high end this time. This time, that's their words. This generation. So there is every hope that they come back for the next one. There really is hope that they come back for the next one, and I hope they do, because we need the competition, man. It's kind of like the Star Wars analogy of the good guys versus the bad guys. It's like, it's no, look, you're my only hope. It's AMD, you're my only hope from the bad, nasty emperor that is Jansen. Or Jensen. Jansen's our guy. He could be a bad emperor as well with that beard, to be fair. I hope so, man. The closing the ray tracing gap, well, that's good for competition, but as I mentioned before, I was never really enamored or excited about the ray tracing stuff. It doesn't bother me that, but it's good to compete, isn't it? So
there'll be a time, though, Trevor, where I think that's all we'll have. So I think these games like Doom and the Indiana Jones, there'll come a time for sure when all games are ray traced, because the technology will just improve so much, and Nvidia wants it to be that. So that if that's what Nvidia wants, they're probably going to get it.
It's
Like
the
I said,
sad reality, isn't it?
in the coming years, it'll be the AI card. It's on the way. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Not this
It'll
generation,
be-
not next, not the one after, probably, but
It'll all be
It's kind of
software
there.
based. It'll all be ray traced. It'll all be upscaled. It'll all be AI. Video cards in the future probably won't even have that much hardware on them. I would
exactly.
imagine.
So you only have a card like a third of the size, or whatever, but can put out enough to what you need.
It'll be a live service graphics card, guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's all we
no.
need. Can you imagine those sitting go, you didn't pay enough for the game? And they try to turn us right off. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Poor man.
Brutal, man. Absolutely.
That's
I go talk.
no, that's just not a future. I'm sure. I feel particularly happy about.
You should get one with a coin slot in it.
Yeah, there you
Count
go.
in for each use.
God, can you imagine?
You put 2 quarters in for ray tracing, 3 quarters in for more VRAM.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Trev.
Anywho,
What were you gonna say?
Move on. We'll crack on.
I've got-
Guess it's pick. Yeah.
I've got one more I wanted to talk about. If that's
Oh,
okay.
sorry, my bad. My apologies, my man.
No,
Go for
that's
it.
okay. You can move on if you like. This one's just still a rumor again, but I think it could be very cool. So this is Intel, and apparently they're going to be releasing, again, still rumor, a professional card, which is essentially 2 cards melded together with 48 gigabytes of VRAM. So that's 2 GPUs. And some of you, Gray, you're definitely old enough to remember the days where I think it was there was a version of the 780, the GTX 780 that was essentially 2 cards melded together. And I can't remember if it was exactly that one, but there was one in the past. And of course, we've had SLI cards,
SLI,
and it's that's all died a death, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, so while this sounds really cool, I'm not sure that I really have too much optimism for it, because I mean, it's all about the software optimization, right? It's about if they have a card that is 2 cards put together, it's all about whether there's the software in place or the optimization for the software that will allow it to do its job. And it's going to be a niche upon a niche upon a niche. So I just wonder if it's could it be a thing? I don't know. Could they be bringing back SLI?
I don't think so. The only way you're going to get SLI is if the 2 cards that you're using in SLI are cheap. That ain't happening.
Who's this card aimed at? It's that's probably the question I need to ask, because it's not top range, top tier. That's got 40. Yeah, it must be
AI users, people that are running local LLMs.
They need the higher RAM and everything. And yeah. I'm surprised. I only learned it just because it's become a hobby. But when I look at this thing, it uses actually a lot of power out of a GPU, and even the 12 meg, 16 meg cards, and even the 24. From what I read, you have to have at least a 24 VRAM to be able to run some of this AI stuff.
Oh, bare minimum, yeah.
Yeah, and
Wow.
that's exactly.
Is that
and
relies on
up
RAM
from there.
mostly? Is it RAM and the AI cores then? I'm guessing they're the key
Yeah,
things.
it all runs it because you basically put the entire model into the VRAM, and then it's able to it's like if you had a cache, it's putting it all into the cache, and then it's the model stays in the VRAM, and it's able to then do all of its computations on the fly.
What does ChatGPT do then? Do they have server racks after server racks of all these graphic cards connected up together for an ultimate VRAM pool?
That's exactly right. They have huge data centers full of Nvidia GPUs, basically.
That'll keep your living room nice and toasty and warm, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man! Well,
That's actually going to be a problem in some parts of the world because they're building server farms for AI. They don't have what they need to keep them running. It's a problem because when there's people out there that can't get electricity for their home and they find out that the AI center's sucking it all, they kind of like, wait a minute.
You're trying to find ways to power them with natural kind of wind and solar and all the kind of natural resources you've got, and then try to cool them in a cheaper way. Microsoft got a whole server as an experiment, and literally this was a few years ago, put it in the North Sea off of the one of the Scottish islands and literally dunked it under the water. And the North Sea's bloody cold, trust me, even in summertime.
That's cool.
So, and well, pun intended, yes, see what you've done there, Tar. And it was nice and chilly and cold the whole time while it was running at full capacity. So, I mean, the poor fish, like anything that's nearby is probably getting nuked, like ending up with like 2 willies and 3 eyes and like 5 arms or fins. So,
Wait a minute, that's not
all good.
nuclear. I mean, geez.
No, but the amount of heat it gives off, Gray, that's the thing. Like, so anything that gets nearby is like, yeah, I'm out here. Nemo's done one.
I didn't know the answer to this question, but I just Googled it. But I Googled how much of the world's energy comes from data centers. Does anyone care to have a guess?
Yeah, can I say 10%?
You can say whatever you like, yeah?
Gray?
He's not going to tell us. No.
Guess.
22.5.
That's high.
8. I'm going to say it's going to be really low.
So it's actually 3%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's actually a massive amount if you think about it.
Yeah.
An absolutely massive amount. And this is just basically to run, the internet, essentially. That's wild. 3%.
Man,
It'd be a bit crazy if it was 20-something.
I originally thought my phone was running it all, but I guess not.
Not your phone, Gray, man. You're too many generations out, my man.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I hope Intel. I want them to compete. I want Intel to compete. I want AMD to compete. But I need one of those two to step up to the high-end game again before the Empire takes over.
Yeah, go big or
like
go
I
home.
said before, AMD, you're my only hope.
I think now's the time, Trev. I think AMD will, honestly. I think with them going to a unified chip structure, I think they're essentially copying Nvidia. They're going to be in a much better position to be able to compete on the feature sets. And then it will come down to relationships because, Nvidia have great relationships with all of the big software providers, like your Adobes and such things, right? So, it's all optimized better for them. And then AMD need to start getting those better relationships and those better optimizations to then compete.
There's only one
further.
question I have about that. Will it run Crysis?
No, nothing will ever.
No, nothing does. Well, run Doom at 1 million frames.
The million frames, yeah.
Apparently, even a 5090 only runs it at 80. What the hell?
Yeah, I know, but that's just the bacon. Yeah,
they're going to come out with they're going to come out with portable nitrogen pumps where you can just sit there and stick them in your PC for a certain cost, and it just goes starts pumping the liquid nitrogen. Everything's nice and cold.
I have one more question, if you don't mind, guys. I
that's too
don't
many,
want to take
man.
up all the
Come
time, but this is a little bit cerebral, right? Are you still really excited about tech? Like, how much does tech excite you at the moment, or is it
way too much of a broad question, man? We'll be here for fecking ages
Yeah,
trying to answer that.
Just a snippet. I just want to hear a snippet.
Yes.
Not as much as I used to be. Then is the short answer. Not as much as I used to be. Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
I think that's probably quite common, honestly, among the tech
Everything's
people at the moment.
down. There's not innovating as much as it used to, and you see it with phones and all that. Yeah, man, it is right. And that's why I've hung on to my phone for nearly 2 years now. It might be 3, and I've done it every year, upgraded every year. So too much.
I think the issue for me is just like everything is just becoming more painful, and expensive, and it pushes down my enthusiasm a little bit. I still love tech, but yeah, less probably so.
I think what it is tech has grown new gray areas, is what it is. Whereas before it was more cut and dry. Now there's like these gray areas and kind of creeping around and stuff, where you're not quite sure of this or not quite sure of that, either because you're not told the truth or like we were talking about before, the marketing keeps you spinning around as much as they can, stuff like that.
Okay, we will move on. We'll probably have to keep some of the content for next week, no doubt. I saw Mr. Matt move some stuff. You don't have to do that, Matt, but if you want to take one for the team, go for it. We'll move your stuff to the top next week. It's only fair. Yeah. Something that I know Gray and I at least want to talk about, some exciting game news, and both of us are guilty for not going back into this recently, the amount of stuff that's out there at the moment and how busy life can be. Enshrouded, we talked a little while ago about their new update coming out. We've got nothing but good things to say about this game. We love it. It was our game of last year, I believe. It was mine, at least. Anyway, Gray. Really enjoyed it. The new update is live. It's called Thralls of Twilight Update. There are some trailers for it. Please go and check them out. There was a story, this is the first time they've done like a story trailer or a story campaign kind of update. I'll give it a 6 out of 10, meaning it was decent, it was okay, it was a bit cheesy. You could tell that this is the first time they tried to do this. I'm not going to slight them for it, not at all. But it's good to have a bit of story behind it and a bit of context to a kind of campaign, if you like. So there is loads of stuff they've done here. We won't have time to go through it all. The quickest thing you can do is what I done, is you go to the Steam page for Enshrouded, and this isn't 1.0, this game, that's how good it is. And you just go to the patch notes and you'll see some of the stuff you've done. So
yeah, it's quite long.
It is, and she also did say that. It goes on to say that thrilled to bring you the Thralls of Twilight, a new update filled with darkness, despair, and a bunch of cool new stuff, as well as the usual quality of life improvements and fixes. Not only have we revamped the Shroud, we've also given the Nomad Steps and Kindle Waste a facelift and added an NPC that also gives you a facelift. I mean, that what the hell does that even mean? Plastic surgery? You're going to get chopped off? Who knows? You'll need to play and find out.
There's a second trailer out. I don't know if you saw it, where they actually showed some of the graphical improvements that they've made.
No, not
which is really
yet,
interesting.
No.
Yeah, they definitely have given it a facelift graphically. It looks more vibrant. More,
no choppage of face. Then we're safe. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know completely, but what little bit I saw, it was definitely a difference.
Well,
so
respect. It wasn't ugly before, Gray. Listen, I respect that. That's great. I can actually give my graphics card a proper workout now. Now listen. Being civil and decent here, Mr. Gray. One thing I can say is someone that we used to know made a really funny comment about Gray when this first game came out, right? And it was from our previous colleague, Nick, when he talked about there's a bunch of dudes walking about the Shroud that look like Gray.
what?
Do you remember that one? Do you remember that?
I missed that one.
He said that. He said that back in the day before he jumped off the pod. That this game, there's the Shrouded, and there's a bunch of the guys in the Shroud look like Grey Gamer 25.
Oh, okay, yeah. I remember now.
Oh, no, but it was a chuckle. Gray took it like a chuckle.
No.
But yeah, that was a funny comment. So they've done loads of things, and I'll just kind of give you some kind of brief highlights. They're really cheesy, these guys. I like it. The future is foggier than ever. Shroud fog. What they've done, overhauled the Shroud's visual identity. Gray said the graphical side of things. Also, its landscapes to engulf all biomes. So they've gave a facelift across the board. They have deepened the contrast between gameplay above with in the trailers and within the Shroud by introducing unique new challenges, enemies, and mechanics. They want to make the time spent in the Shroud feel rewarding by introducing exclusive rewards, loot, and powerful incentives. I'm getting really excited for this. I need like 3 of me. Like, I need to clone me, man. I can play all these games.
There's so many good games that have come out in such a short span. It's like crazy.
I know, and I've got the bloody Viking game. What's the Viking game called? The kind of graphic one. Is it called Vikings? Valheim, that's it. Still go back to that, man. You know, there's loads of things. Rework of the Shrouded landscape and Shroud visuals, new enemies for Shrouded areas, introducing the new weapon gem system, a new way to empower your weapons with unique effects and abilities. See if it goes down the bloody magical route, man. That'll be a rant for another day. Exclusive Shroud rewards. You might be able to get a big mask or a head statue of Grey Gamer to put up on your wall like you do with your trolls and stuff.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, I'd like one of those.
Great on your wall. New risks and rewards after dark. Ooh la la.
Definitely risk,
We have an Enshrouded icon we can put up there too.
Oh, we do. Oh, no, yeah. Well, that's a side tangent and a half. Yeah, go to Extreme Gaming Podcast on our Discord. Go to the general page.
GG/Extreme Gaming Podcast.
Or you could Google search it. I mean, we're not biased. You can do that if you want, and you'll see a little amusing picture of me from a recent theme park.
Or maybe if I'm editing this, I'll pop the picture.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, that's it.
That. Then everyone does watch it is turning off for sure. I look constipated. That's the best way of describing it. New risks and rewards after dark. Let's say night enemy patrols, night blooming flora, night temples. I talked about the visual upgrades, in-game player customization, technical improvements. And there's so huge.
Yeah.
They've even got a section about stuff they're still working on.
Some of the new creatures they came up with are pretty cool looking. I was looking at these weird things with giant blue eyeballs, and then there's some other jellyfish looking things that float in the air and shoot stuff at you. It was pretty cool.
Great. Is it safe to say this is the best $25 or whatever you paid bang for your buck game that you've ever purchased?
I mean, they still haven't charged a dime for all the stuff they keep bringing out. Not one. And they could have easily gotten at least $10 or $20 for each of the bigger updates. I mean, but they just keep putting it on for free.
Oh, 100%, man, 100%. So respect to them. Like, we could spend ages talking about it, but what? Literally, just go and check their change log. When they show a video of their changes at the end, they zoom through with all these screenshots of all the additional points they've got because there's so much. So go and read it, man, and take your time doing it. I already talked about the PlayStation thing as well, so there's no point doing that. We can spend a few minutes, 5 minutes, maybe talking about the GTA 6 stuff, because we do know they delayed their game to next year. Like,
May next year, so they say. Yeah,
it is what it is. I think they'll stick to that one, I'll be honest. But the new trailer, they launched that 2 days after or so to sweeten the deal. It looked really, really cool. I assume by now all you boys have seen this.
Mm-hmm.
But as of the 8th of May, so a week ago, it had nearly 500 million views. Now, someone want to do me a solid and actually Google GTA 6 trailer 2 and tell me what its current view count is, because it's going to be the highest of all time. Right? Oh, it's been out a week or more now.
Well,
actually,
less than a week, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's less than maybe.
Yeah. But that was the 8th. That was a week. It was over a week ago, so
107 million. That doesn't look like the right.
And that's just Trevor.
And that's
right. Him just clicking in 107 million times.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just me. Well, no, it can't be right. It's because when I said there, like 8th of May, at nearly 500 million views. So is that...
Somehow I think that's fixed. All the employees at Rocksteady are all sitting there with a mouth in each hand, and they said, "Okay, I'm going to pay you all this much money to stay awake for 24 hours."
No,
I can't find that many views.
Well, it does say, it's 107 million when I check.
Yeah, 107.
This is 8 days ago. 107 million.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're counting trailers baked into websites and whatnot, or like everything that's on social media. Yeah. I don't know.
Here's something interesting for you, Trev. There's a video below it that says Rockstar are claiming that the second trailer was a gameplay trailer. Now, I think when we looked at it last week, we weren't 100% sure. But if that's in game,
it wasn't gameplay.
They came out later and said it's a mixture of the two, which blows my mind, because it didn't. It looked like it didn't look like gameplay. It looked like CGI trailer from the game. So
I think it was very little gameplay. I could be wrong, but I think it was very little gameplay.
Yeah. It's when you saw the character standing still. That was the gameplay bit.
I like lifting the weights up and stuff, like the simple stuff.
It might not be gameplay, but it could be like in engine, right? And that's the main thing, because if they can do that in engine, they can do anything in engine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But listen, it's a visual masterpiece no matter what. Like they've done really well. Like, credit where credit's due. They've got a bottomless pit of money. They've got all this time to do it. No wonder they've come out with all these tools and processes and features for the game that are going to change the gaming industry. It looks stunning what they've done, and that was running on a base PS5, and it looked stunning. So, God knows what it like in a PS5 Pro. I really concerned if we don't get a 60 FPS mode on PS5 Pro. But again, as we talked about the GPU versus the CPU element, you need more CPU for that, and they don't have it. 30 is, I'm done with 30, boys. I'm just so done with it. I can't, not this day and age. So
I heard they're coming out with a $100 regular game, and they're also going to come out with a $40 low graphic game.
No,
Yeah.
low graphic and limited to 20 FPS.
Exactly.
Don't be better.
The FPS cap is 20.
Yeah, you have to buy a $100 DLC to get it up to 60.
There you go.
Mental. Listen, I think you hate it, but it's like the Nvidia thing. You want the best of the best. This is where you need to go.
Hey, all I can say is I am so glad I'm not a GTA fan. So I don't even have to worry about it. So
I'm not either, but I got caught up in the hype. I haven't even finished 5, man, to be honest with you. So, yeah, no, literally, it does say here as well, Rockstar confirmed that the GTA 6 footage was captured on PS5 hardware, and it's a mixture of cinematics and actual in-game engine play. So, make it out what you want, man. Make it out what you want.
I don't believe that.
I'm actually just watching it for the first time, and it doesn't look like a mixture. It looks like it's either all in game or all out of game.
I don't know.
I'm not
I
seeing
remember
any
looking at
difference
it,
here.
and I thought I could pick out the parts that were in game, and it wasn't a lot. You know,
Probably
It's hard to
the
tell.
title was in game. The loading
hard to tell.
screen was cut down.
yeah, the title.
Maybe Digital Foundry or they were pixel peeping, so maybe they're able to tell. But not. Listen, it is the beast that it is, mate. It's either buy it, you don't buy it. You might buy it when it comes out in PC, and then they've got rid of all the kinks and problems. Who knows? But yeah, anyway, we'll leave it there.
More kinks and more problems, more
Do
like.
we have time for the quiz? I think we have only time for the quiz.
Well, I no, we probably do. You could maybe even squeeze in a hardware article or two, Gray. We've got probably a few minutes left.
Man,
so
I
if
can
you
wait.
want.
Let's go with the quiz.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
DDR
to be
probably.
fair, so we're not all ramming it in, to be fair, and we're all
Yeah.
good. So yeah, but we'll leave it. There's always
So,
plenty of content, guys. We'll
There's
talk
one or
about
two
that next
questions
week.
I want to see if you guys can get.
Oh,
Okay,
no,
so
I
it's
hate quizzes.
the world famous Extreme Gaming Podcast quiz. So here we go.
Yes, it is.
Number one.
There's
Which
one
of the
answer.
following systems is unable to browse the internet? PC, Sony PS3, Nintendo Wii, Xbox 360.
We.
Oh, for feck's sake, man.
Which cannot
I think-
browse the internet?
I think it's going to
The
be a
Wii.
trick question. I think it's the Wii, but it's not going to
Yeah.
be. So I'm going to go with Xbox 360.
Got to
Okay.
be PC.
We.
I'm joking.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Nintendo Wii, screw it.
Okay, and that.
Yeah, we.
Okay,
We
and guess
all the
what?
way home.
Ding, 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 ding. Charles, right. Xbox 360.
Oh,
You cannot browse the internet.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I'm a
thought I was
console
able
pro
to.
guy.
You
I
are,
knew when I
yeah,
found out. I was kind of like, what?
You don't know shit.
Yeah.
I'm the new console expert around here now.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah, you are.
All right, this will probably be a tougher question unless you played this game. What was the weapon choice nearly cut from Gears of War over creative differences? And it was a famous weapon, by the way.
Did we have
Little
this
weapon
question
extra
before?
No, don't
No.
recognize it.
Oh, okay.
What was this famous weapon's choice nearly cut from Gears of War over creative differences?
the chainsaw gun?
Okay.
I don't know anything about Gears of War, mate. I can't even guess. I've never
Right.
played the game.
He's
I
out.
can't
I'll
even
guess
step out.
the big sword.
The big sword.
Yep.
Do they have a
That's the
sword?
name of it?
That big sword.
Yep.
Anyway, chainsaw gun. Ding, 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 ding. Very good, Matt.
Ooh, what am I?
All right, now
The
here's
chainsaw gun,
here-
great. The chainsaw gun, sorry, is a very much like Doom Guy's shield.
It is,
If you think
yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah.
if they'd done a team up together. Oof.
Yeah.
Really, they should cross over all kinds of stuff. Anyway, this is more of a fun question. All right, what real life planet is most similar to the scalable size of the Minecraft world?
LV4296.
No, I will give you a big hint. It's in our solar system. So, what real life planet is most similar to the scalable size of the Minecraft world?
Saturn.
Jupiter. It's got to be Jupiter or something stupid
All right,
like that.
Saturn, Jupiter,
Neptune.
Not
Neptune.
Uranus.
Pluto. Haha, I'm only kidding.
And the answer is Neptune.
Oh,
Yes,
Oh
Carl.
my god!
Carl got 2 out of 3, man. That's pretty good.
Did I win the quiz this week?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
did.
he did. Yeah.
Oh my
Very
god!
good. Very good.
Wow.
Objection, Your
God
Honor.
damn it. Well, I can't
Nice.
actually remember if the actual intro credits worked or not, Gray.
No, they didn't. I'll
who
edit it
knows?
later. I'm gonna
Who
try. I'm
knows?
gonna try the outro ones. Hopefully
We
that
have to
will
sing
work.
the outro
Yeah,
ourselves.
if not, we just end it and we do our thing later. But no, listen, thank you very much, guys. We
Look,
will
it's
see you
working.
next
We
week.
can do a Fraggle Rock one.
Wave everybody! Bye!
Turn up, babies!
Bye.
I'm gonna leave you all on.
Join the Discord.
No pressure.
Dun, 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 dun. I don't want to give Trev that he'll be tortured.
Oh god, no, that's too close. Too close, Trev. Too
Do
close.
that.
I'll Trev first.
Oh,
There you go.
look at the ponies up his nose.
That's all we have to
Let's
do.
go next.
Let me just build this up.
All right, that's next.
No, no.
Wait a minute.
You
No,
don't do it.
Lightsaber.
We're slowly being hidden. Whee! Bye bye. Where's my invading thing? Oh no.